And there we are. And we're live. I was waiting. I have to wait till the thing pops up and says you're live. All right. Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope your weekend has been good. But yeah, a little, not bad day here today. A little chilly, but not terrible. We're hanging in there. That's all we can do. Actually, I'll take a look and I'll tell you what the weather is right now. I think we got to a high of 41 here today. Right now it's 29, so not bad. It is what it is. That's the way I always look at things. All right. So before we jump into this video, are you ready? And we're going to talk about a lot of different things in this video. We're going to talk about some more about Moore County in North Carolina, and we're going to talk about the things, and it's a direct result of what's happening down there, what's going on, and those type of things. We're going to talk about that, but then we're going to talk about other things as well. So, but before we get into that, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. I would ask you please to be decent in the chat, no racism, no nastiness. Let's just treat each other with respect and dignity. And if we can do that, we'll have a good chat. Otherwise, those awesome people that you see lit up in blue with the wrenches, we'll boot you out of here because we are not going to have nastiness in this chat. Just won't tolerate it. All right. Other thing, real quick, again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I would ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. And thank you ahead of time for that. I do appreciate that. Really is huge difference with the algorithms. So thank you for doing it for that reason as well. We got our Echo Flow generator today. Sharon Barrett said, "Awesome, very cool, very cool. Glad to hear that." All right, so let's get into this. We're gonna start out talking about Moore County in North Carolina, and people are saying, and I've been like getting all kinds of information. So supposedly there was a drag show that was going on, and people were upset about the drag show or whatever the case may be. Listen, drag shows happen all the time, all around the country. It, it's not limited to a area, or one county. It happens constantly. So that's if people are doing their thing and they're minding their own business, who really gives a crap what they're doing? Okay, that's kind of my take on that one. But so people were saying that, oh well, maybe it was because of that there was a substation attacked. First of all, folks, there was at least two substations that were attacked in this. Okay, and so um, I seem kind of subdued. Now, actually, I feel really good to be honest with you. If you can see my shiny dome here, I just shaved my face and shaved my head, so I got that all squared. Actually, I trimmed all this up too because this was getting a little out of control, so I took it down. So I actually feel really good, nice and clean. But drag shows do not offend me. Drag shows with children do. I get that, and I understand it completely. Like, listen, I will be the first to say on here, and I've said this before, I don't think that it is appropriate to have drag queens come to school and read story time to children. Okay. I just don't think that that's appropriate. I think that there's a time and place for everything, and that's not it. Okay. So that's just, but of course, that's strictly my opinion, period. So what does my opinion mean? It means nothing when you have whoever's in charge is making a call and they think that that's perfectly fine, whatever. Like I said, that's not my call. As a parent, what I would do realistically, if I had a 5 year old in that school and you knew that on Tuesday that the drag queen was going to come in and you know uh, do story time for the kids, I keep my kid home that day. That's what I do. Period. I mean, so again, um, you know, we all have individual choices to make. You have a choice to make. When districts do the different things that they do that you don't agree with, then you have a choice to do something different about it. It's as simple as that. Okay, so as a responsible parent, that really whose lap does that fall in? It falls in your lap. But anyway, so we're getting completely off the rails here. But anyway, so there was speculation that a substation was attacked because of that. This was a coordinated attack. Two different substations got hit. All right. So this was absolutely done on purpose for a reason. Will we know what that reason is? Probably not. All I remember is that in 2013, I believe that it was, there was a substation in California that was attacked by an individual for 20 minutes, and targeting transformers and everything like that. In that situation, they were able to reroute the power to keep people online and that type of thing. Now, they never caught that person. Okay. What we have to understand is a couple of things. Now, I'm not going to speculate and say, oh, it's a terrorist attack. I'm not going to say anything like that because I don't know. All I know is what we're been told is that two substations were attacked. Gunfire was used in those attacks to attack those substations, which has caused a power outage, which they are now saying that in some parts of that county, that they're not looking at getting power back until at least on Thursday. So, you know, one of the things I want people to understand, we have a wide open southern border. Wide open. If I am a bad actor from another country looking to do the United States of America harm, which way do you think I'm coming in? Actually, I'll tell you, actually, if I was a bad actor looking to do harm, I wouldn't come in from the southern border. I wouldn't come in from the southern border at all. I'd come in from the northern border because there is some focus on the southern border. Not a lot, don't get me wrong, but there's a whole lot less focus on the northern border. So I'd get into Canada somehow and work my way through. There's so many ways to get in here, guys. You're not stopping everybody from getting into this country. But unfortunately, when you have the southern border, which pretty much is wide open, bad actors are coming in all the time. Sleeper cells, whatever you want to call them, they are in place, they are here. So if they decide, or if their handlers decide, whoever the case may be, now is the time that we want you to do X, Y, and Z, that's what they're going to do. Their entire goal is to take down our country. So now let's talk about what's going on right now in Moore County in North Carolina. There is a curfew in place from 9 o'clock tonight to 5 o'clock in the morning. I had that information sent to me by one of my subscribers. So, and I don't want to say your name, but I want to just tell you thank you very much for sending that information. Why is there a curfew? Well, because as we know in our wonderful society of America, right? In our wonderful society of America, what happens? When the power goes out, the scumbags are going to be out in droves, looting, stealing everything that's not nailed down because they know there is going to be no cameras working, no way for anybody to. It's not testing martial law. No, it's not, Angela. Absolutely not. That's not the intent of this. It is because there's so many scumbags out there that will steal everything that's not nailed down. That's the problem. Okay, so these things, you have to have the curfew in place to keep. Well, the honest men you don't have to worry about. It's the dishonest people. I mean, I read, and I don't know how true this is or not. Okay, so I'm going to share the information, but there was already looting and shoplifting going on at the local WalMarts down in Monroe County, not Monroe, Moore County down there in North Carolina. Doesn't shock me at all because criminals are going to always take advantage of any kind of situation that happens where they can get a chance to get out and steal. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. That's going to happen. But it's just the point is when these type of situations happen, and let's be realistic. Okay, so we're looking at 3,700 customers from Duke Energy, and then another 300 customers. So 4,000 customers, which probably equates to about 120,000 people. So that's, and so how long is it going to take to get this power back on? The majority of people, folks. So let's say let's call it 4,000. We'll just call it 4,000. Okay, we'll go with that number because that's the number of customers. Of those 4,000 customers, if 5% of them are prepared for any kind of disaster or any kind of disruption in service and those type of things, that's going to be a lot, about 5% if they're lucky, maybe 7%. Most people are not prepared for anything, So you're going to have a lot of people that tonight are not going to have a way to stay warmer because they have no power. You can't flush your toilets because the pumps aren't working because there's no power. So it can turn into a very bad situation really, really fast for people, especially those that are not prepared. So, of course, us as preppers, those of us that prepare, we're the crazy ones, always are the crazy ones, right? But I have to always laugh at that because the reality is we're the ones that have been preparing, getting ready. We are also the ones, big number of food banks getting broken into up here. People are hungry and desperate. Oh, wow, that's in Rochester, in Greece area. Viz, thank you for that information. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. You know, we are the ones that truly, in these type of situations where it is not an SHTF type of situation, we can make a difference education wise. Okay, what we can do is if we're in that situation and our neighborhood was one of those neighborhoods that went dark and it's going to be like a week and because of whatever the case may be, we have an opportunity to hopefully open up some eyes and say, this is why I do what I do. You see, I am ready for this and I'm prepared for this. I can teach you and I can show you how to do this for yourself. And some people are going to be receptive to that. They really truly will be, because I'm telling you guys, the more people that we can wake up, the more people that we can say, hey, listen, this is important to do. It's not crazy, it's not nuts to want to be ready and be prepared, right? It is amazing to me. It's amazing to me, how many people are unprepared and not ready. And they think nothing's ever going to happen and everything's going to be beautiful and everything's going to be wonderful. That's not reality. That's just not reality. So, yep, I just said that Savage Wagon did about the curfew. They have the curfew, and that's because of the criminals. Because the criminals are going to be out there doing what they got to do. But again, we're probably not going to get the full gist of what happened here. Okay, and I want you to let's take this into consideration. Look how much upheaval this has caused for that one county. This is one county. This is that we know of two substations. Okay, two substations. So this is one county. Could you even begin to imagine on a larger scale how bad this would be? On a larger scale, it would be really, really bad. I wanted to got to do something really quick because I wanted to share some information with you, and so I got to do this the right way. If I could get my brain to work, that would be great. All right. Oh, actually, I have it here. All right, really quickly, guys, what I want to do, I want to give a shout out to a longtime viewer. It's going through some medical procedures right now and not fun medical procedures. So I want to give a quick shout out to Mark uh, Drewhurst. Mark, thinking about you. You're in my thoughts. Those of you out there who pray, I would ask you to please pray for Mark. Mark Dewhurst. He's going through some stuff right now, not a whole lot of fun. And so I just would, if you pray for Mark, if you pray, please do so. Otherwise, like I said, you're in my thoughts, Mark, and I'm thinking about you. And hopefully you get better soon. All right, buddy. So your wife asked me to give you a shout out, so I absolutely wanted to do that for you. All right. So getting back to North Shore Two Head, he's back in the North Shore Preparedness is back in the hospital again too. Yeah, he's got a lot of health issues going on and has had stuff going on for quite a while, and I hope that he's okay as well. So, all right, let's get back on this, guys. Uh, you know, there are a lot of things that can go sideways really, really quickly And there is a very thin veil with civility, very, very thin veil. Because as long as everything is okay and there's no changes and everything is fine, people are going to be much, much nicer. Okay. As soon as those things are taken away, when you take away the power, when you take away the television, when you take away your ability to get out and flush your toilet, when you take away the ability to be able to sit in your nice comfy chair in your nice warm house, uh, people are going to get pissed pretty quickly, and it's going to the breakdown of society is not that long after that type of thing. So there are people in place right now in this country that have bad intentions for our country, folks. There are. There absolutely are. You know, and I'm going to tell you what, and I'm going to give you an example of something. Anybody that watches this channel knows that I have a group that I've been putting together down here in West Virginia, right? And we meet once a month. We're working on getting things squared away here. This is a bug out location for folks. So things go completely sideways. They're bringing their families, they're coming here. We're going to work together. Here's the beauty of what we're doing in our situation. With coming together and being of the we are a family. We really truly are a family, okay? Uh, uh Ed, you saw the pictures of my refrigerator? I don't know what you're talking about, Mark. I'm not sure what you mean. But anyway, when worst case scenario happens, we're coming together, we're planning on working together. Does that mean what are we going to do, right? Because let's think about this. Let's think about this. If I have a group down here, and let's say the number's 25 people, all heavily armed, right? Ready to go, do what we got to do, right? What are we going to do? What is our intention? What are we looking to accomplish? What are we looking to do? And I'm going to tell you right now what our intentions are. Our intentions are to keep our group safe, to also watch out for our neighbors, to make sure nobody messes with our neighbors as well, because I think that's important. You have established those type of relationships. We're not looking to be this bad tough guy group that's going to go out and take everything from everybody else. That is absolutely not our intention in any way, shape, or form. That is not what we want to do. We want to be able to be stability in the area where if outside people were looking to come in and hurt the local population, that we can do something about it. And then that way, we have their back, they would also have our back. And I'm going to tell you what, you need those layers. You need those layers. You need those buffers. And there's, you have guys, you have no idea how much thought that I have put into this over the course of many, many years, and in those type of things. But I know human nature, and I know how people are, and I know how evil people can be to each other. We see it every day, folks. When people hurt children, when people attack elderly people, and all those type of things. And this is stuff, and I want you to remember this, okay? These are things that are happening now, right now, with rule of law. That's with rule of law. The evil that happens on a daily basis in our country and around the world, it happens constantly, and that's with rule of law. What do you think is going to happen when there's no rule of law? How do you think people are going to, act when, okay, wow, I can't get in trouble if I do this? I can't, there's no ramifications for my actions, right? But see, here is the ramifications for your actions. And I'm going to tell you, and this is not a threat. This is not me being a tough guy, any of that type of stuff. None of that. It's not, that's just not what I'm saying here. But I'm going to tell you right now is I sit before you. If somebody does something evil to somebody here in this area, to one of my neighbors, to people in my group, I'm going to tell you what, there are going to be consequences for your actions, and you're not going to jail. I guarantee you that. Okay? It will be dealt with. It will be dealt with swiftly. and that'll be the end of it, period. And people will understand really, really quickly that you don't come around in a certain area messing around and being stupid. It's not going to be acceptable. It's not going to happen. Walking Dead laws, pretty much, allegedly. Yes, Angela, allegedly. But the thing is, you have to have that. You have to watch out for each other. And if you're not watching out for each other, who's watching out for you? And that, I'm telling you guys, and I know I keep beating this home like a dead horse. If you are not part of a group, you better get yourself part of a group, because there's, number one, there's safety in numbers. And I hear this, oh, well, when you got a bunch of people, you're going to have this problem, you're going to have that problem, you're going to have this other problem. When it comes down to a situation, maybe in a regular town, it would be like that. You'd have those issues, right? But if you are in a SHTF situation, it's the end of the world as we know it. You got a choice. You got, oh, I got something on my neck. Okay, I saw that. I'm like, what is that? It's like a little piece of lint or something on there. You have a choice. You can work together for the greater good of the group, for the people in your surrounding area, or you can be evil and you can do evil things. And that's a choice. All right. That is absolutely a choice. But I will tell you right now, if you get together with the right group of people, your kids are going to be safe. Your wife is going to be safe, and that's what your significant other, whoever it may be, they're going to be safe, because you have people that have a moral code, that have said, yes, this is what we're going to do. You have to have some kind of moral code. If you don't have a moral code, if you don't have something that you're willing to live by, you may end up being in that group that goes out and is raping, robbing, and pillaging. And I'm going to tell you what, you might get away with it for a while. You might. But eventually, you're going to run into a group that's organized, that's squared away, that knows what they're doing, and you're going to get it handed to you. Okay? And that's the truth. So, and like I said, I don't want you to sit here and think, oh, he's fantasizing about this. I'll be the first to admit, okay? And just for the record, you guys, um, are part of my family. Oh yeah, you're part of my family too, Mark. Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what the thing is. What people don't understand about our group, we're not just a bunch of strangers that came together. We're developing a family, and that's what we are. Okay, that's what we are, and we plan on working together and helping each other out. And I hope nothing ever happens. I hope nothing ever happens. I hope that 10 years from now, I can sit here in front of this laptop and talk to you guys and show you, look what we got done here. Look what we got going here, you know? And I want you to think about this. So here I got this group, and as it expands and it grows and things continue, 10 years from now, okay, it's harvest time. So we can up a certain amount of stuff. And guess what? Everybody's taking stuff with them. You know what I mean? Because let's say if I have 1,000 pounds of potatoes, do I need 1,000 pounds of potatoes? I don't. Okay. But if I can make sure that my group, that we're eating organic stuff that we grew, that we know what went into it, that there's no pesticides, that there's no other kind of chemicals and crap in there, and we perfect what we're doing, there is no end of the possibilities of what could happen. There's just not. So, but so anyway, like I said, I hope nothing ever happens. I do not sit here and hope for the end of the world. I don't. I never will, because it would be a very bad thing. It would be a very bad thing, and way, way too many people. Too many potatoes make vodka. Okie forge. Exactly. Exactly. Well, I'm sure. I'm sure that we would have something like that too. But anyway, so but it's just, the ultimate thing is that safety in numbers. It's that peace of mind knowing things are going sideways. It's time to get out of Dodge. I have a place that I can go with like-minded people that think exactly the same way I do, that we're going to work together. We've been working together for months or years or whatever the case may be. That's peace of mind, folks. Just like prepping. When I really got into prepping and started, food and medical supplies and beans and bullets and band-aids, right? I mean, realistically, got it going. And I got to a certain point where I was like, okay, we're in pretty good shape here. If something goes sideways, we're going to be pretty good. That's what it's about. That's what you got to be thinking about. So, but anyway, really quickly, I do want to mention. Well, first of all, we got 504 in the chat. We're at 186 on the thumbs up. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so really quick to show support for the channel. And I thank you ahead of time for that. It really does. I really do appreciate it. Makes a huge difference with the algorithms. So the more interaction that we have, the better it is for the channel. So I thank you for that reason. So if you have not shot that thumbs up yet, do it for that reason as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So I thank you for that reason as well. Really quickly, I did want to mention I'm doing a sale right now on my website, preppernurse1.com. We are doing a 20% off sale on the legacy freeze dried foods. So, again, if you go preppernurse1.com, click on store, it will drop down. You will see legacy foods. You click on that, it will take you to the store within the website. Once you're there, if you decide to make a purchase, 25-year shelf life, GMO free, gluten options available. There are beef and chicken options available as well. So all those things are there. So if you decide to do that, you can do 20% by using the discount code, if I could speak, would be great. Uh, Solstice 2022, because we're coming into the winter solstice. So that's why we did it that way. That all that information is right on my website as well. So definitely check that out if you were interested. Freeze dried food is a good thing to have along with your other preps. It's just a nice thing to have. So, but anyway, Mark says, Devil Dog Prepper, look at it like dating. Take it slow, get to know them, and then slowly let your guard down. Here's the thing is, so we're going to get back to that a little bit because Mark makes a really great point. So in April of this year, I had my first get together with prospective members of people that wanted to be part of a bug out group down here in West Virginia, right? And so some people came. I met a bunch of people. I'm not going to mention names, but I'll give you an example of something. So there was one guy that came that weekend, and so when everybody was starting to leave and stuff like that, I could kind of tell in my I make assessments all the time. I'm always watching. I'm always paying attention to everything, and so the one guy, well, Ronnie was here. Ronnie had been here. He'd come down early and was helping me out and stuff like that. And so we're saying goodbye to this guy, and so he's leaving. And I looked at Ronnie, and I said, he won't be back. He goes, are you sure? And I go, yep, he won't be back. And I will tell you what, that dude never came back. Never came back, never heard from him again. It's not for everybody, okay? It's not for everybody. It's not going to be for everybody. And what will happen is you're going to have an attrition, if you will. You'll have some people come in, they may be in the group for 6 months, and they may decide down the road, yeah, you know what, this is not for me, and they're going to go on their merry way. All right, and that's fine. There's no hard feelings. If you don't want to, if you're not committed to what we're doing, then we don't want you here anyway. You know what I mean? So it is, it you're it's an insurance. It's like investments of anything else. You're hedging your bets. You have car. Well, you have to have car insurance. There's no choice of that, right? But yeah, the Cowboy game started at something positive. Yeah, go Cowboys, guys. Got to keep me abreast of the score on that one too, please. Um, but anyway, you just there's going to be people that are going to try it out. They're not going to like it, and then they're going to go on their way. And there's going to be other people that from day one, and Mark would be one of those guys from day one when he got here. I said to myself, this dude's going to be a good fit. This is going to work out with him. Just like Ronnie. Love Ronnie to death. Chris and Jen, they came very early on. Same thing. We've added more people since then. We've had, we got newer members that have only been part of it for a couple of months, but from that initial time of getting together in April, there's been that hardcore group, like Ronnie's been here from day one. those guys, they're not going anywhere. And the thing is, what is funny, we have a group text, right, for our group. So through the course of the month, we're chatting in this text, and people are bouncing ideas off each other, and that's the other part of it too. When you have five, six, seven different people looking at different ways of how to do things, it's better. It's just better. But Ed, I'm not committed to your group, but one day when my tree is grown, I will show up with a jar of jam. That sounds good. That sounds good to me. And the thing is, you know what? It's just okay. So, Joe from St. Bernard Acres. Joe has his own group of people up where he has his place, right? But we have like a loose affiliation type of thing with Joe. Joe's not part of my group. Joe has his own group from St. Bernard Acres. But we also have an agreement in place that things go sideways, that if there's a way that we can communicate and a way we could do trading or whatever down that road, we would do that with that group. There's other groups as well. So like my buddy Eric, who's been down here, okay, he has a bug out location also in West Virginia, and he's got a group of people up there that plan on working together. And believe me, Eric is hyper prepared, hyper prepared. The only thing that he's lacking on, that I've talked to him about, and he knows it, so when he watches this video, he'll know exactly what I mean, and that's his power situation. He's got to get that squared away because that's important. He's working on it, but again, he's got like a lot of irons in the fire, if you will, just like everybody else. We all got all kinds of things going, but having to back up some kind of power source is really, really important, even if it's for one main building, if you will. You have to have some place where you can charge up your power tools and all those type of things, because you're going to be doing a lot of building. So those are just some thoughts, but connecting with other groups is important as well. Like when I was in New York, there was another group of family, the ones that I had told you about, that helped me do the greenhouse. Okay, and John and his wife, and they have like their whole family lives on like one road, and they've been prepping forever. And those would be people that I would work with in a post event. Now, obviously, SHTF happens in a true SHTF event. Am I ever going back to New York again? Probably not. Okay, probably not. So it's just that's what you have to think about. But it's just you have to be organized. You have to be squared away. And the time to do that, folks, is not after an event. I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to go back to Moore County in North Carolina. I can guarantee you right now, there are a ton of people that are going, crap, I wish we had done this. I wish we had gotten that. I wish we had done this. And hopefully, some of those people right now that are going to not have power for maybe until Thursday, maybe some of those people will go, you know what? I need to be better prepared for the next situation. And they'll do something about it. I will guarantee you this, the majority won't. And I never understood that. I never will get that. If you have lived through an event where there's been power outage or there's been a disaster, be it hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding, snowstorms, ice storms, all those type of things, I don't get why people just do nothing. You know. Jay said, if SHTF, you may have to get your daughter, sister, and mom and animals. Actually, Jay, I've had that discussion with them. They have to come to me. They need to get here. So my sister's boyfriend, we've sat down, we've had that conversation as well. They got to get here. That's what they got to do. I am not leaving. It sounds harsh, it sounds bad, but if I go off half cocked running to New York trying to save my family, what happens? Number one, if I don't make it, there's people here counting on me here that plan on having me, in place and doing what we need to do here. So I'm not running off. And I know that sounds terrible, and it would suck. Trust me, it would tear my heart apart. But I would hope that if there was a situation where we were looking at it and like things are getting bad, you know, get here, do a vacation, you're on vacation, and that's what it has to be. Those are the things, again, you better have in place ahead of time. Because if you don't have that plan, if you are not prepared to do what's necessary and know what you need to do, then you're screwed. Vlad K said Ed they should stay put. They probably would have to for a while. They probably would have to for a while, you know. But the thing was, if there was like a lead up, if there was a lead up and we knew we could just see it coming, then it would be pack up as much crap as you can. I don't care if you rent a U-Haul and get here. That's the way that would be. That's the way that would be. So you have to, again, planning things out ahead of time. You know, she has one, Janet. She has one. Yeah. So, but would they know how to get to you without GPS? Yeah, it's fairly easy to do that. Yes. So, um, yeah, Becky's been down here. Heather's been down here a few times. So, yeah, that's how it would, like I said, that's how it would have to be. You better have your plan in place. You better know what you want to do and how you want to do it. Uh, you know, it's easier to go one way once, not back and forth. Exactly. And the thing is, Lena, like I said, in a true SHTF situation, and I've talked about this, guys, you realistically, they say 3 days. You got 3 days. I don't believe you got 3 days. I really don't. If you're lucky, you got about a day because it will look at what's happening just even right now in Moore County in North Carolina. They've already put a curfew in place. So now you're not allowed to travel between 9 o'clock at night and 5 in the morning. Hey, Karen, I live in North Carolina and I want to go to Alabama and SHTF. I found a website to get back road directions all the way to his house, no interstates. And that's a great point. That's awesome that you did that. I'm glad that you did that, number one. The other advice on that I would give you, Karen, is have more than one way to get down there without the interstate. Have more than one way. Have at least 2 to 3 different ways that you could go. That if, say, one way was cut off and you couldn't go that way, and then you have another option to go a different way. So, you know, and here's the other thing: if you get that opportunity and chance ahead of time, drive that route. May take you longer, but get it so you got time. You got to figure it out. But really quickly, things will go bad. Things will go bad really, really quickly, and so you have a window. And in that window, you better be decisive. You better be very clear. If you plan on bugging in, then you bug in. And I think that that's important. But what are you doing with that bugging in? All right, what are you going to do? So, you know, what you're going to look for, and let's be honest. All right, depending on where you are and what's near you, what resources are near you that you could utilize that's going to help you survive longer in a situation. So what's there? So okay, crap has happened, things have gone sideways, right? Every grocery store, and this is not, and I'm not saying this because, okay, yeah, go out and loot and steal and do that type of stuff. But we're talking a worst case scenario is going down, and you have an opportunity to be able, and this is why it's important to keep cash on hand at all times, too, okay? Every gas station that you go to, every gas station has propane tanks, 20-pound tanks all over the freaking place, right? My advice would be, if you could, get to those places and get as many of those tanks as you could. If you're on your way home, if you can stop and say, yeah, I want 5 propane tanks, 20-pound tanks, get them, because you are not going to get them afterwards. After an event, a true event, you're not getting them then. So Know where your resources are, know where things are that you can utilize to help you survive long term. Okay. Now, as you guys know, recently, this is just an example. Okay. So I already have 6 20-pound tanks, right? That's a pretty decent amount of propane. It's not bad. Well, I just recently went out, excuse me, and I bought 200-pound tanks. Yeah, it was not cheap. It is expensive, but to me, it's an investment. I'm looking long term. I'm looking, okay, things go sideways. Now I got 6 20-pound tanks and I have 200-pound tanks. That's going to keep me going for a while, while I sort things out, while I work things out with other things. So, and if all else fails, everywhere is within walking distance if you have the time. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, but like I said, again, 300 pounds of propane should last a while for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. But again, that's also planning, thinking, okay, what's my situation? Where am I at? What would I have to do in a situation? And again, so I've told you guys, my plan is to bug in. Things go completely sideways. I am bugging in. I am not going anywhere. And I have no plans on going anywhere, But I figured 5 pounds of propane a week when it gets cold out. And again, so let's say a true SHTF happened right now today. Boom, right? You hear the furnace on right now, probably in the background here, all right? Because I have my propane heater on. I got the heat on in the camper. That gets turned off. I'm not wasting my propane on that in a true SHTF situation. That propane can be used for a lot of other things, and then that's not going to be used for that. So, we would be like, Steve and I would be working on getting the wood stove hooked up in the blue house. That's what we would be doing. You know what I mean? I have two 100-pound 620s and a 250-gallon propane. That's good. Solar wind in South Texas. That's real good. Yeah, like up in New York, I have a 330-pound tank of propane up in New York, and then my sister has a 100-pound, or no, 200-pound tank. I think is what she has. She's got one of those big round ones. So I think it's 200 pounds. So you know, that's that's just like I said. It's planning ahead, and the propane in New York. I'll just tell you, the only thing that propane on my tank up in New York is used for 7-3 Cowboys. Thank you. The only thing in my tank that propane is used for is to heat hot water. So I literally, in a year, they come every June, fill up my tank, leave me a bill. I generally use about 40 gallons of propane a year. And because it's only used to heat up hot water. So, like if I'm washing dishes or I'm taking a shower, that's what that propane's for. That's it. So how long would that tank last me if all I'm using it for is that? Got a wood stove, right? So, if it's wintertime, worst case scenario, you're not probably maybe you don't take a hot shower, maybe you heat up water on the wood stove. I have to stock up on my green tea, exactly. I know I was actually just looking. I have this one that I'm drinking, right? I got 4 in the fridge, and I probably got 6 more over here. I was just thinking about that today. I'm like, I got to go get more green tea. Got to have my backup. But again, folks, when you see these situations like this, and again, we don't know all the information. We do know that 2 substations were attacked in Moore County in North Carolina, which is causing power outages for people in that county, and they're having issues, obviously. And it's going to be possibly until Thursday that some of these people get their power back on. What needs to be taken away from this type of event, there are coordinated groups out there that have very bad intentions. There are. Now, in an SHTF event, all right, there's militia groups out there, right? Now, how organized they are, I don't know. Don't care. I really don't. I believe that with my location, and Joe's been to my location, it's pretty out of the way. Like I said, I plan on watching out for my neighbors. When my group members get here, we're all going to be working on making sure that we survive and everything. So, oh, egg count. Okay, yeah, it is that time because we're 45 minutes into the chat. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. But anyway, what the point I'm making is, if you have a group, and depending on what kind of group it is, you have choices to make. So that's all I'm saying. And you better know what your group's intentions are before you get involved with them. So go ahead and give me your count, guys, on the egg group. And while we're doing that, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel, and I thank you for that. And also, I'm giving you guys. I'm looking at your things here. So, all right. Like I said, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. It really makes a big difference with the algorithms as well. And I thank you for that reason. It really makes a difference. So I appreciate that. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So thank you very much ahead of time. And I will tell you in a moment who has the correct guess. I'll give you guys another minute to get your guesses up there. So, how many eggs, and yes or no for thick neck? And we will go from there. So, I will take another drink of tea. Ah. All right. If you had the same exact guess as I prep 2, 0 eggs. So, obviously, no thick neck if we had 0 eggs. So, that's what we had today up there. No eggs today at all. So, that kind of sucks. But I Prep 2 is the winner, so congratulations. You've won absolutely nothing. It's that time of year, you know. But Morning Light said I only had 5 eggs and 2 duck eggs. Yeah, it just, you just never know. You just never know. So it's just, we got to get some new birds up there in the spring. So we got to get new birds in the spring. Get a younger group in there. Like I said, some of my girls are getting older, and so that's part of it. And but yep, winter's here and they're not laying. Yep, I actually had Greg when I was up there last. I had talked to him, and he goes, because I always give him eggs, and he's like, got any eggs? And I'm like, dude, they're just not laying. And what they are laying, we're using. So we get eggs all winter long. Gail made them a hot breakfast every day. Well, that definitely helps. That definitely helps. But John's asking whatever happened to the new kittens. I decided not to get them, guys, just so you know. Um, so yes. So I do want to give another update too, and this is really, just I had mentioned that Dennis was going to be coming here in the spring and moving to the homestead in the spring. That's not going to happen now, and that's a personal, private matter, so I'm not going to even discuss that. But the decision has been made that that's not going to happen. So realistically, the only person living here on my property will continue to be Steve, Steve and little Steve in the big blue house. So but yeah, so that's going to be it as far as people living here goes. But other than that, just and obviously my group members come down and they're welcome to come down and hang out whenever they want to. So, but nobody's living here other than, like I said, if down the road my family wants to come here and live here, um, that's fine. So I have no problem. If my daughter decides, yep, I'm coming, more than welcome. My son, more than welcome. Mom, Becky, if any of them want to come down the road, they're more than welcome to come. So they can come here and they have an open invitation. My niece and her boys, same thing. So, but Other than that, it's only going to be Steve. So, but Jerry Lee has still been visiting. He wasn't around this weekend, so I the kid's mom. Good question, Okie Forge. If it was a true SHTF situation and she brought Eddie, I'd have to let her stay. Um, I absolutely would let her stay. I wouldn't turn her away because that is their mother. So some of you may not have that same feeling against exes, but you know, as long as she realized that, I you got to understand something. If things go sideways, and I had talked to Charlie about this, and that's my ex father-in-law. I said, you bring me my son, you guys got a place. Period. So, Ed, what will happen with all the animals in New York if SHTF happens? We'd have to cross that bridge when we got there. The dogs are important to have, really, really important to have. The cats still do a job, keeping the mice down and stuff like that. So, you'd still want to take care of them as long as you possibly could. But Timothy says, "Oh no, I tell my ex-wife to kick rocks." Yeah, but again, like I said, to me, she's the mother of my kids. And well, let's put it like this: I'll tell you this, Tim, she ain't sleeping in my bed. She's not sliding in and doing that. So that would not happen. Not that she would want to. I don't think she would want to either. But I would definitely take care of her. That's just how I roll. So am I a sucker because of that? Then maybe I am. I don't know. But, that's just how I feel. So, no, I can't say that. Lena says I'm best friends with my ex. Well, that's cool. I'm glad that you guys can get along like that. Uh, you know, I'm glad. Uh, 10-7 Colts. All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Would you give her Jen's bucket? Well, that's Jen's bucket prepping survival. She might get her own bucket. Far side of the property. Exactly. Exactly. Like I said, you just, if I had both of my kids here, how do I say to them, screw your mother, go jump in the lake? I couldn't do it. It's just mean. So I wouldn't do it. That's just me. So anyway, again, situation down there right now in Moore County in North Carolina. Not a fun time, not a fun thing to be going through for anybody, but we can all use these as learning lessons. If you are not prepping, it's a really good indication that maybe you should start thinking about doing something about that. You know, so it's important. Be diligent, pay attention. All these things that are happening, I mean, these are not things that happened 30 years ago. Nobody attacked substations 30 years ago. I'll give you an example. I was out, and this is just a great example of this. So, John and Patty were invited me to come. They had a group that they met with, and they had invited me to come to these people's property, and talk with them and stuff like that about preparedness and getting ready and stuff like that. And I said I would. So, I mean, it is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, where I am up in New York is pretty country, okay? And this was even more country. And as I was driving to their property, in the middle of nowhere, there was a substation. Okay, there's a sub, and I remember driving by that substation and looking, and there's a fence around it. That's it. That's it. And how easy of a target that would be with for somebody with bad intentions. That's my first thought. My first thought was, my God, this is out in the middle of nowhere. You could go to town on this freaking thing. And if you got two, three, four guys and you're all opening up on it, I mean, how long do you really have to do it for to do some serious, serious damage? Okay. So having cameras doesn't mean squat. It really doesn't mean squat. I don't have to walk in there to do damage. I can stand outside and do some serious damage, depending on what I'm using. So that's what people need to realize is how truly fragile our infrastructure is in this country. It's bad. It's really, really bad. Somebody had made a statement of the cooling plants for the dams, drones, drones loaded with explosives. How difficult would that be, right? You know what I mean? How difficult would that be? So those are things that people really need to think about, and they just I don't think a lot of people do. I just don't think a lot of people do. But it makes you realize how fragile things can be and how quickly things can get out of control in a hurry. And so those are things to actually really think about and hopefully do the best that you can do planning wise to prepare for those situations. I mean, we're not going to be able to prepare for every contingency, guys. Okay? You're not going to be. You're not going to be able to. But if you can make sure you have a roof over your head, a way to stay warm, and plenty of food, and a way to protect that food, okay? Power is a luxury. Having power is absolutely going to be a luxury in an SHTF event. That is the reality. That's going to be a luxury, period. So you need to think about prioritizing what's important. Having and along with the other things that I mentioned, medical supplies, because over the counter meds, just over the counter meds. I mean, think about, you know, we all probably, I shouldn't say all of us, but I would say most of us, if you opened up your medicine cabinet, you have, you know, I love that. Thank you there. Yeah, let's hide that one. Let's hide that one. Yeah, thank you, JJ, for taking care of that. Oh, that's too funny. Um, but in everybody's medicine cabinet, you probably got Advil, right? You probably have, you might have some Imodium if somebody gets diarrhea, those type of things. You might have some medication in there, for cough and cold, that type of thing. But people don't think about I can't go to the store anymore. Yeah, cough syrup, right, right, exactly. Maybe some Vicks, right? They might have some Vicks in there, but they don't plan ahead and they don't go, okay, well, if something goes down or something goes sideways, eventually that, even a 250 count bottle of, Advil or Tylenol or whatever the case may be, you're going to run out. Band aids, exactly. How much do you have? So, and you have to think about those things and plan accordingly ahead of time, because if you do that, it puts you in not only a better situation to survive long term, but it also gives you an opportunity. How valuable, I want you to think about this. SHTF has happened and we're a year into SHTF, and somebody comes and they know that you have some medical supplies, right? How valuable you think antibiotics will be a year out in an SHTF situation, realistically, regardless of what kind of antibiotics that you have? How valuable would they be? How valuable will pain meds be a year out in an SHTF situation? How valuable would it be to have Vicks or Tylenol or any of those type of things, Band-Aids, all those type of things, razors, razor blades, okay? You know, they're going to be worth whatever you want them to be worth. And people are going to be willing to pay for them. They're going to be, So, those are, there's not going to, I mean, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic here a second, okay? There's not going to be any more diabetics a year out in an SHTF situation. You know why? They're all going to be gone. My mother is a diabetic, insulin dependent diabetic. She's very realistic. She knows that in a SHTF situation, she's not long for this world. If you don't have some kind of antibiotics, one infection in an SHTF situation and you could be done. Simple as that. I mean, it's that, yeah, it's an inconvenient truth. Exactly. Anybody that's compromised, all those people, here's what the beauty will be. This will be a miracle. This is going to be a miracle in SHTF. All those people that are laid up in their houses because they can't work because they have this, that, and the other thing, lo and behold, SHTF happens. Boy, they're going to get a cure real quick. They're going to get healthy real fast, or they're done. Period. Okay. I mean, that's the reality. That's not being mean. That's not I'm not fat shaming or anything else. But if you're 600 pounds in an SHTF situation, you're probably not going to be around long. It's just not the reality. You know, if nobody's taking care of you and bringing you food and doing all that, you're not going to be around long, or you're going to lose a whole lot of weight, and all of a sudden it's going to be a miracle, and you're going to be moving again. So, those days are going to be over, folks. Yeah, everybody, Patty, everybody. I mean, you know what? Yeah, I got extra weight on me, and I'll be the first to admit it, and I'm overweight, and I'll be the first to admit that too. But I'll tell you what, I can go pretty good for an old fat man. So, I can handle my own, but yeah, protect your local nurses. That's it. You know what? You're no longer nurses. When SHTF happens, folks, I'm no longer a nurse. I'm not a nurse anymore. Now I'm the doctor. Because unless you have doctors around, the nurses are now going to be doctors, and that's what that happens. That's also a reality. So, John says food and medical supplies is my main focus, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you also, John, better have a way to protect that food and those medical supplies. That's just as important. Now, that's not mean that you go bananas on that and skimp on the other stuff, but you better have something to be able to protect what you have. And I will say this again. Here's my rule of thumb, and we're gonna do shout outs here in just a minute, okay? Per weapon that you own, per weapon that you own, and I will say that again. So if you have 10 of them, if you have 10 different things, the minimum that you should have per weapon is 2,000 rounds per weapon. That's the minimum. There is no maximum. So once you hit your goal of 2,000 rounds for that weapon, you just keep on going. Because again, and I will say this, and I say it all the time, in an SHTF situation, you are going to have what you have. Period. That's it. End of story. No more going to the store. No more last minute runs to get anything. You're going to have what you have. So the better prepared that you are, it's going to put you in that situation to be able to survive whatever's coming. So that's just something that you know I'm putting out there. Okay, so we're going to do some shout outs now, right now, guys. Real quick again, what are we at? 532 in the chat. We're at 341 on the thumbs up. So again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do that to show support for the channel. You can't even get ammo in Connecticut without a license. Yeah, it's getting insane. So my advice to you before they get any more draconian laws, stack it up to the ceiling, guys. Stack it up to the ceiling. Okay? Because eventually these lunatics will try to take away things that they have no right trying to take away. And then it's going to be game on, and we're all going to have to make choices. All right. So again, if you haven't shot a thumbs up yet, please do so, and thank you ahead of time. Also, again, it really does make a big difference with the algorithms. And if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe as well. And thank you ahead of time for that as well. And make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications. All right, Ikican up in Canada. Please show him some support and follow his channel. JJ will throw his link up there. You have Angry Prepper down in New York City with Jason. Jason is awesome. He's been out here twice to the property already. And he has another group that he plans on going to, but I'm like his backup group. And he would be an asset no matter where he's at. I will tell you that right now. Not only because of his firefighting skills, but he is a squared away individual. You have Alaska Prepper with Rudy up in Canada. Canada. Why do I keep saying Canada? Alaska. Imagine that. Alaska Prepper, right? with Rudy in Alaska. We have Alaska Granny. There is Sean James with the Sean James channel and My Self Reliance. Now he's in Canada, and he's a good dude. Definitely check him out. Follow what he's doing up there. You have North Shore Preparedness. Now he's in the hospital right now again. So let's keep him in our thoughts and prayers as well, please. And go show him some support on his channel. There's Corporal's Corner. You have Bjorn Hansen. There's 80K Man up in the Adirondacks. Definitely check him out as well. Let's see, where am I here? Bizariza Jizza, who was in the chat. I don't know if he's still here or not. Doing the Carrington Chronicles. Let's show him some support as well. And really good series that he's doing. You have Marfugal News with Adam and Dax out on the West Coast in Seattle. Definitely check them out as well. Really good channel. You have Magic Prepper in North Dakota. There is Wrangle Star with Cody. Another really good channel. A lot of good information on his channel as well. You have Red Poppy Ranch. There is Survival Lily. There is Kyle's Cabin with Kyle and Sierra up in Minnesota. A nice couple up there. Definitely check them out as well. You have Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods, husband-wife team. 2 different channels. A lot of good information. They split their time between Michigan and Alaska. So again, nice couple, and they got some good information on there. There is Green Greg's. You have Southern Prepper 1. There is Gray Man Prepping. You have St. Bernard Acres with Joe, and Joe was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's still here or not, but definitely go show Joe some love as well. There is Doug and Stacy, another really good channel with a lot of good information. So let's show them some support as well. Let's see. We have the Nomadic Movement down in Panama. Nice young couple down there. The Green Dream Project out in Arizona, showing you how to live in the desert. Which is really neat how they're doing what they're doing out there. There's Camping with Steve Wallace. He does stealth camping, a lot of fun to watch him. There's Bush Doctor Survival. You have Monkey Works, The Needy Homesteader, Boss of the Swamp, who's been around forever. Real good channel there as well. Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Diamond is awesome. Definitely go show him some love. Really good channel, a lot of good information. You have Patera with the Appalachian Homestead. There is City Prepper, Lumina Acres, Suspicious Observer. There is Bear Independent, The Uneducated Economist. You have Bushcraft Bear, who is in the Canary Islands in La Palma. Definitely another good guy out there. Mary Greeley News, giving you all the information, updates of what's going on with Yellowstone, volcanoes and earthquakes and stuff like that. And let's see. You have, where was I? Mary Greeley. Okay, Adapt 2030. There's Malachi's Corner. You have Ice Age Farmer. Ryan Hall, y'all. If you're going to get your weather, you should get it from Ryan Hall. Really good guy, great channel, and he really gives back a lot, which is good. He's a really good dude. You have Russell Brand. Russell Brand will make you think, which I like that. And I really like what he does with his channel. And he gives you the information and lets you decide what you want to do with it, which I like that. Deep South Homestead. There's The Outsider, The Fit Farmer. There is Prep Rebel, Simple Life Reclaimed, Townsend's, The Prepared Mind out in California. You have Pinball Preparedness, who is in Tennessee. Let's see. We have East Tennessee Preparedness, The Economic Ninja, and Little House Off Gritty, who is also in Tennessee. So just a few channels in there. I know there's plenty of others that people like, but those are the ones that I give the shout outs to. I do believe it's really important that we should be supporting each other. We should be encouraging each other's to do well. And, there is way too many pettiness and jealousy among certain people, and I don't get that. I really don't. I hope everybody does well. So, I really do. I hope everybody's successful and that they make a decent living off of doing YouTube, and good for them, But hey, good night, John. You have a good night, buddy. But like I said, a lot of good channels out there, a lot of good information. I think we need to make sure we're diversifying what we're watching, because it makes it, gives you a different perspective. Different different people in different parts of the country, they have a different perspective of stuff. When you listen to somebody like, Russell Brand, he's from Britain, obviously, so he's looking at it from a different perspective. And I think it's important that we just look at all those type of things. So, but Mark, oops, 7 minutes past my bedtime. All right, Mark, get some sleep. But again, a lot of good channels out there. So let's just support everybody. I think it's important to do so. But and actually, right now we're gonna, what are we at, 382? We're 382 and 382. How weird is that, right? Let's get over 400 on these thumbs up, guys. We got like 10 minutes to go. So let's get that up over 400 just for, let's go for 425. I don't know if we can make 425 if we got enough time. Dusane's two great earthquake reports. Yes, that's another good channel. Yep, another good channel. So I was really sad to see, with Boss of the Swamp, that Frankie passed away. He, that it had to crush him. Like I said, he had that dog. I think she was 15. That was, so I mean, I've had my girl for 2 years, and I know how close I am to her after just 2 years. So I would be crushed if something happened to her. So I couldn't even imagine having a dog for 15 years and then having it pass. It would suck. It would suck big time. So, I feel bad for him about that. Obviously, we all know what happened with, camping with Steve. His wife passing away unexpectedly, and very, very sad. Very, very sad. So anyway, Alaska Granny's husband just passed away as well. I'm sorry to hear that. 1410 Cowboys, thank you very much for keeping me updated. I appreciate that. So, Cowboys are winning that game, guys. All of you who hate the Cowboys, it's okay. We haven't won a Super Bowl in many, many years. It might be our year. So, that would be nice. I would love to see that. Come on now, JJ, get on board. Get on the wagon. There's plenty of room. We can get you in there. You can get on the wagon. My pet was 17 last year. Very hard. Yeah, people don't understand. And here's the thing: I think a lot of people don't get. When you have an animal, it's a responsibility. It's just like a responsibility having a child. And to me, to me, that dog is part of my family. That's part of my family. So, you know, and well, here's two things I know. That dog would lay her life down for me, and I would do the same thing for her. So that I know for, without a doubt. That's you can't you can't buy that type of loyalty. You can't. You just can't. So, but my dogs and cats, and they're all part of my family. So, but anyway, my last dog was 14 when he passed. Someone dumped him out when he was a puppy, and we kept him until he passed. Well, that's awesome, though. And that's the other thing. When people do that, uh, I don't know how anybody can just go, yeah, I'm done with this animal, and just get rid of it. You know, if you have a good animal, just because they got older, they're sick. I don't know. I just don't get it. But anyway, all right, we're gonna go on here. We are Legion because we are many. I get that stuff makes me emotional. Animals and people hurting animals. I just, for no reason bothers me. Where's everybody from today? I see Philip is in the house this evening. Welcome, Philip. Glad to have you here. From Melbourne, Australia. Good day, Philip. Franklin County, Ohio. Clyde and Inverness, Florida. We have New Mexico, Southwest or Southern and West Virginia with Alan. Glad to have you here. Fort Worth, Texas. Nowhere, Oklahoma. Hollywood, Hollywood, California. Aaron, Tennessee. Puerto Rico's back in the house. Glad to have you here. Leesburg, Florida. Valley of the Sun, Arizona. Belgium is in the house. Glad to have you here as well. West coast of Florida. Waterloo, New York. Raleigh, North Carolina. Westminster, California. Glad to have you here, John. Uh, Barrett, New Jersey. We have Troutman, North Carolina. West Central Ohio. Nebraska. Chloe, West Virginia. Iowa. Roll Tide out of Alabama. Kansas. South Florida. Virginia. Littleton, New Hampshire. Las Vegas. Mark, glad to have you here. Douglas County, Missouri. North Georgia. Troy, North Carolina. Southwest Ontario, Canada. Glad to have you here, Julie. Eastern Kentucky. We got Missouri's in the house. Imperial Beach, California. Las Vegas, Nevada. Lynn also. South New Jersey. Very nice. Pennsylvania's in the house. Northern Michigan. Bath in the UK. Glad to have you here. Glad you joined us. Glad you stayed up because I know it's 5 hours later over there. We got Missouri in the house. Very nice. I am Nancy. Campbell, Missouri with Antonio. Glad to have you here. We have Jenkins. It reminds me of something. I'll tell you in just a second. We have Wyoming in the house. Glad to have you here, Mary. So with the last name Jenkins, it reminds me of a video. They were doing like Call of Duty, and the guy's name was Leroy Jenkins, right? And we have St. Augustine, Florida, and so they're all standing outside the gate, and they're talking about what strategy are we going to use when we go in here and rush. And all of a sudden, this Leroy Jenkins, that's why, because it reminded me because of your name. He goes, Leroy Jenkins! And he rushes in, and you hear somebody go, GDU Leroy! And they all follow him in, and they all get killed. It's hilarious. But he was like, he wasn't sitting around discussing nothing. He was going on the attack. Very funny. So just something that popped into my head. We got Wyoming is in the house with Mary Mills. Glad to have you here. Campbell, Missouri. We have St. Augustine, Florida. South Carolina's in the house. So Guam, USA. Very nice. Glad to have you here, JW. Port Clinton, Ohio with Spencer. Nice. Glad to have you here, Spencer. Connecticut's in the house with The Watcher. Guys, we're all over the place. We're all over the country. We're all over the world. We are a huge, huge network. Michigan is in the house. Huge network of people. We are the ones truly that can make a difference. We can make a difference now trying to wake people up, trying to help people. We can also make a huge impact and difference. St. Columbine, Quebec, glad to have you here. We can make a huge, huge difference, especially after an event, because we can help people. We can teach them how to survive. And I think that that's important. I think that's one of the reasons why we have been awoken, not woke, but awoken. We got Northwest Ohio with Devil Dog Prepper 99. Glad to have you here. Arkansas Hillbilly, glad you're here as well. So again, folks, huge. We're all over the place. And there's a lot more of us than people think. There really, truly are. Not enough. There should be a lot more of us, but we're getting there. So anyway, guys, I want to thank my moderators who do an absolutely fantastic job keeping the chat clean. Appreciate what you guys do, ladies and gentlemen, that moderate for me. It means a lot to me. Also, I want to thank all of you guys for being here, because without you guys here, then we're not doing these streams, right? So very much appreciated. Hopefully what you take away from this stream tonight is that you need to be ready no matter what. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to be thrown our way. Our power grid is our Achilles heel in the United States of America. Remember that. Plan accordingly. All right? Remember, guys, we are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. Antarctica, very nice. Jan, glad to have you here. Called the human race. If we could ever figure that one out, we would be in much better shape. We have to stop letting them divide us. And who is them? Whoever's pulling the strings, whoever's really, truly in control, which is big business and the government. They use race, religion, political affiliation, the vax, the unvax. These are all tools used to keep us fighting amongst each other. And it's ridiculous. It doesn't need to happen. We have to come together, because if we don't come together, they will always win. Always. If we come together, true change can happen, because we can make it happen. All right. Just something to think about. Also, remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. Excuse me. So it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Gotta have a drink. Hold on. Gotta wet the whistle. Last but not least, STD. Step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to do, whatever you are trying to accomplish, it doesn't have to be prepping related, it doesn't have to be off grid related. Whatever goals that you have set in life, you can do it. If you set realistic goals and then set about to making them happen, the only person that is going to stop you from getting there, Hella's right here, she's laying down. Um, the only one that's going to stop you from reaching those goals is you. That's it, nobody else. So stay positive, stay away from the negativity, and you're going to be just fine. All right, excuse me. Guys, have a great day. I will see you all tomorrow. Be safe. Prepper Nurse One, out for now.